to you is Nancy Drew.
Dear Dad, who would have dreamed taking a vacation to visit Aunt Eloise in Florida would result in another case? Seems a student named Jake Rogers was murdered at the high school last week. And an undercover police detective wants me to pose as a student to search for any leads at the school. So, it's undercover I go. I'm calling this case Secrets Can Kill. Love, Nancy.
Dear Bess, hello from stormy San Francisco. This time I'm staying in a beautiful Victorian mansion. You'd love the room I'm in. The owner of the house, Rose Green, is a friend of Hannah. She and her friend Abby hope to turn the place into a bed and breakfast by next month. But from what I gathered, Rose isn't sure if she can open in time. Ever since they started the renovations, they've had a lot of accidents. Could it be just bad luck, or is there something more sinister at work? I'm sure I'll find out. Love, Nancy. Dear George, so much from my Wisconsin ski vacation. I arrived here at Whitford Castle last night, just before a blizzard swept in. The mountain is completely shut down, and the surrounding roads are closed. I think I'm one of the few guests who made it to the castle at all. The place is huge and old, and slightly creepy under the circumstances. I guess things never quite go according to plan, but at least this time, the culprit is just a snowstorm. Talk to you soon. Love, Nancy.
Dear Beth, remember Maya Wen from high school? I'm visiting her in St. Louis. We have tickets to tonight's premiere of the new Brady Armstrong movie. It's the last screening ever at the Royal Palladium. And now, in just 3 days, it's going to be demolished. The theater will be closed when we arrive. But they will let us in since Maya is covering the story for the university newspaper. Boy, a press pass sure does come in handy. Stay tuned. Maya always gets a full scoop. Talk to you soon. Love, Nancy. Dear Dad, greetings from the new deputy curator at Beecham Museum in Washington, D.C. As you probably know, the museum specializes in ancient Maya culture. My supervisor is going to be Joanna Riggs, a well-known archaeologist. Maybe you've seen her name in the news recently, in conjunction with the discovery of a strange Maya monolith. Well, Beach Hill plans to feature the monolith in an upcoming exhibition. The museum is short-staffed at the moment, and they're expecting such a huge turnout that they've closed their doors to prepare. I'll keep you posted. Love, Nancy. Dear Ned, remember Sally McDonald? Well, she just bought a house in Moon Lake, Pennsylvania. Anyway, last night Sally called and she said she desperately needed my detective skills. She refused to say why over the phone. Naturally, I said I'd drive to Moon Lake immediately. And then I discovered that Sally's gone. She left a note that suggested something terrible happens here at night. It's nighttime, and although part of me is dying to know what frightened Sally away, another part of me is starting to feel a little uneasy. I'll let you know what happens. Ever yours, Nancy. Dear Ned, well, here I am at Captain's Cove Amusement Park, about to try to figure out what's behind all the weird things that have been happening here lately. First, the carousel started spinning around all by itself in the dead of night, as if it was haunted or something. And then the roller coaster suddenly stopped, in mid-ride for no apparent reason. The park was shut down until the city knows for sure what caused the accident. I'm supposed to head over there right now and meet with a security guard named Harlan Bishop. I hope I don't let Paula down. Wish me luck. Ever yours, Nancy. P.S. There's a rumor going around that the park is cursed. Creepy, huh? Dear Ned, here I am on a ferry bound for Deception Island. George's friend, Katie Firestone, is expecting me. Katie's a marine biologist who's doing research into deep water parasitic growth. I should be excited, but for some reason I feel on edge, like something's out of whack. Maybe it's because we're about to dock at a place called Snake Horse Harbor. Kind of a creepy name for a town, don't you think? It's not raining, but it's not sunny either. It's just kind of gray. Maybe that's why I feel so strange. Ever yours, Nancy. Dear Hannah, well, I made it to Shadow Ranch, but I'm afraid all is not well. The Raleighs, the people who own the ranch, have been called away on some kind of emergency. What's worse, Bess and George aren't here yet, which is very strange, because even though we had to take different flights, we figured we'd get into Phoenix at about the same time. Being here without them feels odd. After all, the Raleighs are their aunt and uncle, not mine. I hope they're okay, but frankly, as beautiful as Shadow Ranch is, I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this place. Love, Nancy. Dear Ned, greetings from jolly old England. Although right now I'm not so sure about the jolly part. That's because I'm on my way to Blackmore Manor, where the daughter of one of our neighbors is living. The thing is, Ever since Linda moved into the manor, her health has gone downhill. Her mother is convinced something is terribly wrong and wants me to find out what. So here I am. I can't tell whether the butterflies in my stomach are because I'm excited or just a tad creeped out. Talk to you soon. I hope. Nancy.
The year 1930. The place, the road to Titusville, where we find Nancy Drew pondering this question. Why did Emily Crandall ask Nancy to drive all the way out to the Lilac Inn to see her? Does it have something to do with the fact that Emily's mother died barely a month earlier? The spunky teenager turns off the main road, blissfully unaware that Emily isn't all that awaits her at the end of the driveway. No, Nancy Drew is about to get her first taste of the mystery, intrigue, and adventure that are to become her destiny.
Dear Hannah, here I am at the railroad station along with a handful of other detectives about to board a train bound for who knows where. The only person who knows where we're going is Lori Gerard. That's the young woman who invited everyone. Actually, she didn't really invite me. She invited Frank and Joe Hardy, and they invited me. And I've always wanted to join forces with the Hardy boys. I just hope this doesn't turn out to be another one of Lori's silly attempts to grab publicity. Some people can be a little too rich and a little too famous for their own good.
All aboard!
Wish me luck. Love, Nancy. Have you ever been to Paris, France? Well, préparez-vous, because that's where my next mystery adventure takes place. I'm going to be the assistant to Minette, a famous fashion designer. I'll be working undercover to find out why she's been acting so peculiar lately, throwing tantrums, firing people. She's even started wearing a mask for no apparent reason. Of course, that doesn't have anything to do with her strange behavior, does it? One way to find out. Help me solve my next case. Danger by design. Time to dig out the tank top, stock up on sunscreen, and slip on those sandals, because for my next adventure, I'm off to Hawaii, where I'll be helping out this quirky entomologist who has just made a disturbing discovery. In fact, my working vacation quickly turns into a series of disturbing discoveries, including one that involves a legendary monster with a nasty temper and an appetite for revenge. So come with me to this island paradise and help me solve the mystery surrounding the creature of Kapu Cave. Bad things have been happening to the guests at Icicle Creek Lodge. They come for winter fun like ice skating, cross-country skiing, and snowshoeing. But some leave, fearing for their lives. Of course, the lodge is located deep in the wilds of the Canadian Rockies. But is the lodge simply unlucky, or is someone behind these strange events? Or does it have something to do with the elusive wolf that haunts the surrounding hills? Help me find out in my next adventure, The White Wolf of Icicle Creek. When Beth suggested we head to New Orleans for a short vacation, I thought it was a great idea. The French Quarter, fantastic food, awesome music, friendly people. But all it took was one little side trip to check on a friend of Ned's. And suddenly, everything got very strange. A recent death, a musty old mansion, a garden where only secrets seemed to grow, and something as ancient as it was terrifying. Join me on my next adventure, Legend of the Crystal Skull. Talk about a detective's dream come true. The Italian police called me personally and requested that I travel to Italy and help them stake out a suspected thief in Venice. Unfortunately, what started out as a simple assignment in a city filled with canals, gondolas, and romance quickly morphed into a full-fledged undercover operation. And I soon found myself trapped in a maze of lies, disguises, and danger. Help me find my way out by joining me in my next adventure, Phantom of Venice. Castle Malloy has stood empty for almost a century in a remote corner of Ireland. The few who have dared to walk among its crumbling walls have told tales of devious fairies, ghostly lights, and a cursed spirit haunting the ruins. When an old friend of mine insists on holding her wedding there, things quickly go from merry to menacing, and I soon find myself struggling to unearth its secrets. Join me as I make my way through this long-forgotten fortress in The Haunting of Castle Malloy. When my best friend Bess Marvin wins a vacation for 3 at a resort on a private island in the Bahamas, she naturally invites me and her cousin George Fain to go with her. But by the time I arrive, the owners of the resort are nowhere to be found, and Bess has been kidnapped. To get her back, George and I must find a long-lost treasure, a quest that brings us face to face with many of the island's strange inhabitants. Help us find the treasure before this sun-drenched paradise turns deadly. In my next adventure, Ransom of the 7 Ships. Something sinister has been set loose at Waverly Academy. Someone, known only as the Black Cat, is terrorizing students, sending them strange notes which are always followed by frightening accidents. The only way to unravel the mystery is to go undercover as a transfer student and enter the world of cliques and gossip. Help me uncover Waverly's centuries-old secrets and avoid becoming the Black Cat's next victim by joining me in my next adventure, Warnings at Waverly Academy. I don't know about you, but tornadoes have always fascinated me. So when I'm told a team of tornado chasers down in Oklahoma is having strange, sometimes life-threatening problems with its equipment, and I'm asked to join the team so I can try to figure out why, I immediately say yes. But once I arrive in Tornado Alley, I quickly discover that a line of storms severe enough to spawn a record-breaking string of twisters is not my biggest problem. Join me in my next adventure, Trail of the Twister. I've always wanted to visit Japan. As a thank you for all of my hard detective work, P.G. Crowmeister has reserved a room for me at one of the area's best ryokans. It'll be nice to finally take a break from solving mysteries and to spend a few weeks without danger and dark secrets hiding around every corner. I've already heard that the ryokan I'm staying in has quite a reputation. I'm not sure exactly for what, though. Well, I'll find that out soon enough. Join me in my next adventure, Shadow at the Water's Edge. Residents of a German castle are being terrorized by a fearsome creature, and it's up to me to crack the case. Once I arrive at the castle, I begin to suspect that there may be more to this monster story than just superstition. As monster sightings become more frequent and creepy signs begin appearing, I find myself in danger of becoming the monster's next victim. Join me as I try to solve the case in my next adventure, The Captive Curse. I'm returning home to River Heights to compete in the annual Clues Challenge with Bess, George, and Ned. But when the competition spirals out of control and River Heights' beloved Old Town Hall is burned to the ground, I find myself the prime suspect in a high-profile arson case. It's up to me to clear my name before I'm forever known as River Heights' public enemy number 1. Join me on my next adventure, Alibi in Ashes. A lost world rises from the shifting desert sands. I've joined leading archaeologists to help unearth a site that some say may be the true tomb of Egypt's legendary lost queen. But once I arrive, rumors of terrifying curses fly, and stories of the site's deadly past begin to surface. It's up to me to solve an ancient riddle before a curse as old as the pharaohs themselves seals my fate forever. Join me in my next adventure, Tomb of the Lost Queen. Half scientist, half magician, Nikola Tesla's groundbreaking work electrified the modern world. More than 50 years after his death, many researchers would kill to solve the mysteries he left behind. Now it seems someone has. Days before a highly anticipated announcement, one of the world's top scientists was found dead. With the case now cold, it's up to me to bring the murderer to justice without becoming the next victim of the deadly device. Around here, they say, it's a wicked place. Abandoned years ago by a family who could no longer take the endless nights, when the restless spirits of the past haunted the grounds of Thornton Hall. Jessalyn Thornton dared return, only to vanish without a trace. It's up to me to save her from the ghost of Thornton Hall.